Hello everyone, Ruth and Crow here. Welcome to week 4 of Story Team. This is our last week before we pull all of the story parts together and release the full story on Friday the 5th of June. And if this is your first time joining us, don't worry, there's still time to join Story Team. Last week, we met all of the wonderful, creative and clever folk who live in the place filled with ideas and imagination. The place where Crow loved to fly every day to see his friends. Until one day, Crow was not able to leave his nest as he had a very important job to do. He didn't mind doing the job, but he did mind missing his friends in the place filled with ideas and imagination. This made Crow very bored. And this is where you came in, Story Team. We have been chuffed to bobbins to receive all of your wonderful ideas to send to Crow to stop him from getting bored. Thank you so much to everyone who sent in an idea, and we can't wait to share them with you. As we turn the page to the next chapter on our journey from once upon a time to happily ever after. So, Crow had to stay in his nest to do his very important job. And his friends missed him so much. They all had the same thought. I hope your egg hatches soon so we can get together again. And they all had the same idea to think of some creative things Crow could do at home in his nest. They were usually full of ideas and imagination, but today they were a bit stuck. Then, to their surprise, 2 of their oldest friends returned from an adventure. Martin the Magic Man and Rosie Willson. Rosie was a nurse with rainbow hair who would wear a unicorn helmet and ride her bike with safety and care. Martin was a magic man who could solve any strife. And if you were stuck for an idea, he would make sure you would never run out of ideas for the rest of your life. Martin and Rosie got the ideas rolling, like making sock puppets, shrinkies art, gardening and swing ball bowling. And before you could say treacle pudding, everyone had a brilliant idea for Crow to stop him from getting bored. Sir Johnson Michael said, "Saucepan Head and I like to play with Lego, and the ones with the fire engines or underwater sets are best. But be careful, Crow, a blanket would be a good idea so not to drop them out of your nest." This gave little Unicorn an idea that Crow could use the Lego to make flowers for his friends and be a bit arty. And when he could see them all again, he could say, "Surprise! I'm going to throw you a big party." Yes, a party. Swishy was so up for that. Crow could make puppets of everyone and could practice playing party games and wear a silly party hat. In the meantime, Spy Cat got to thinking how Crow could make his own phone with the help of a squirrel and a cup made of foam. But Chuck had a phone already charged. He could send it to Crow so he could chat to his friends at large. Shape had an idea she couldn't ignore. What if we sent Crow a really hard jigsaw? Moo Cow said she liked to paint, so maybe he would too. It stops me getting bored, Crow, so here are some paints for you. Harry drew a picture to make Crow smile and got together some pens for him so he could draw in style. Mr. Smileyface had an idea for Crow to do a self-portrait of himself in his nest, high up in his tree with an egg underneath him and looking his best. An owl flying by had an idea to spare for Crow to make a mosaic or blow bubbles in the air. Bert and Meatball thought that Crow would need cheering up, so they gave up their favourite chocolate bar for him to enjoy with his tea in his teacup. Jinxie had an idea that was really, really cool. Crow could splash funnily and happily in an 8-foot paddling pool. These were brilliant ideas, but there was one problem. How would they get all of their ideas to Crow? Luckily, a mechanical wonder called RoboBird was in the know. They could take these ideas, with a few more in tow, like parts and instructions to build a house, and they could deliver them to our friend Crow. And build a house is just what Crow did. A place to keep the egg warm and to do all of the wonderful creative things his friends had sent him. He was so happy and grateful to have such good friends that he wanted to do something in return. And this is when Crow learnt to sew. He made gifts for his friends with some thread from his nest and other odds and ends. He made a costume for Little Unicorn for when she sings a song, and some dancing shoes for Mr. Smileyface so he can dance along. For Jinxie, he knitted a bird on a string and a bag for Robo 2000 to keep his records in. A heart bag for kind Moo Cow to store things she'd found. A sparkly cushion for Shape that's triangle, not round. For catching seaweed and dragons, he made Swishy Turtle a net and a towel for Chuck for when he gets wet. Next, a mask for Little Spy Cat and seat covers for Harry's car. Oh, he'll like that. Knowing Sir Johnson and Saucepan Head well, he made them a Lego set that they would think was swell. Last, a cosy blanket for Bert's pet cat's bed, and matching scarves for Robin and Red. And when he had made all of these gifts, he heard a crack and saw the egg start to shift. A friendly snail came to look as the egg cracked open to show a teeny tiny being. A baby crow. Then crack, crack, crack. There were more eggs. Each egg was starting to shake and to speak as it cracked open to show a new baby beak. Story team, it's story mission time. We need some more baby crows. Here is your mission. Send us a picture of your baby crow. Give them a name and tell us a little bit about them. You could include their likes and dislikes, hobbies, favourite food, favourite jokes, or anything else you can think of. You could also record the sound of your baby crow to be included in the story. What sort of squawk or croak do they make? And lastly, as we're coming towards the end, we need a moral for this story. If you could tell a tale twice, what would be your advice? What is the moral to the story? You can send these ideas to storyteamdurham@gmail.com by Friday the 29th of May at 2 p.m. Please also like and share the Story Team Facebook page where you will get hints, tips and updates. We will also post a little update here on Tuesday the 2nd of June with the full story being released on Friday the 5th of June. You've got this, Story Team.